Tonight, we are going to talk about everything that happened last week in the NFL and also what's happening moving forward to this week in the NFL, as well as some college football. I'll start right now. Welcome back to the Beerly Football Podcast. It's about football, but Beerly, I'm your host, Zachary Smith. Joined me as always is the man who is a self-proclaimed head receiver. It's Trev Scott. How we doing?
I'm good. I am the head of receiving, so I'm the head receiver. I worked at Bed Bath & Beyond for a little while. That was my job title. It asked for my job title, so that's what I put in. I'm good though, man. Very good. How are you?
All right.
How are you? Dan, are you today's date?
I don't know what that means. And on my right, we have a man who is sick and tired of watching Mac Jones play quarterback for the New England Patriots. He's sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's Gary Dempsey. How we doing?
Mac Jones and the Patriots are so bad, they've literally got me a cold and have been sick for weeks straight because I can't deal with this offense and this team anymore. So if I throw up on air, it's because of this stupid-ass Patriots team.
All righty. This is a beer podcast, boys. So what are we drinking tonight?
I'll go first, I guess. Back to one of my usuals lately. I got a Modelo.
There we go.
Beer again. I'm always going to complain about this stupid gold stuff.
That's just the worst thing you can complain about. The worst thing you can complain about.
Great beer.
Alrighty. Trevor, what are you drinking?
Man, something I probably shouldn't be drinking, something I threw up way too much in college, but I wanted a cider, so I got a Reds Wicked Apple.
Ooh.
I shouldn't have got a Wicked because that's like 8%. I should have held for the 5%, but it's hockey. It's NHL opening night. I'm going to watch some hockey after this, so why not?
All righty. So, guys, I'm
That
sure
tastes
some
exactly
of you are...
like
Those aren't that good. Like, the Red Angry Orchard are good, but the Reds Wicked taste like Four Loko or something.
it tastes the same way coming up as it does going down. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And I'm sure some of our fans and you both as well are familiar with like the Leinenkugel Summer Shandy.
Yes.
That like lemony beer. Very good summer beer. Well, we're in fall now. Okay. So I'm having a Leinenkugel Juicy Peach. Look at that.
Ooh. That's fancy.
It's
That looks beautiful. That's a pretty can.
That
I will also be
is
having
good stuff. That's really good stuff.
I'll be having
Oh,
a
man.
Polo Sweet Cherry Cough Drop. Sponsor us if you want. 10 of 10.
Alrighty. So, what are we getting into first, guys?
Let's talk some college first.
Okay.
Zach, let's get off right at the bat. What happened to Miami, man?
So it was a bad game. We played bad. We didn't deserve to win, even though we should have won. We didn't deserve to win. So I mean that's all I have to say about it.
That's fair. It's an embarrassing way to lose.
What do you mean? That's all you have to say? You don't think
That's all I have
anything
to say.
about the end? You don't have any certain feelings? Did you yell? Is there any new holes in your wall?
No, I'm not my brother. Me and Zane Smith are not the same person. Contrary to popular opinion.
Fair.
I wonder if he took that loss.
I can send you a picture if you want.
So I'm sure it didn't go great.
Here, let me find it. He
please
sent
do.
it to.
Speaking of that, Trevor, I heard a certain something about Sam Hartman and Notre Dame being frauds. You want to expand on that?
Yeah, man. I didn't watch the game. I just saw they lost, so I was just baiting. I was just trolling on Twitter. But yeah,
Shocker.
who'd they play again? Arizona State.
Louisville. Baggers.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rough. I do want to say, I don't know if you guys saw the Oklahoma Texas game. That was a very entertaining game. Also.
Oh my
Oklahoma-
gosh. Wait, I didn't just go 3-0 and pick them. I went 4-0 and pick them. We'll get to that in a second. Horns down. Boomer Sooner.
They gave him too much time at the end.
Jesse Baker
That
was
was
at the game.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. That first quarter was insane. We had fourth, whatever conversions by the punter. We had 2 interceptions. It was crazy. Texas not back though, sadly.
Horns down.
Unfortunately.
Horns down. Double.
How do
horns
you feel about
down.
Quinn Ewers now? I knew you loved him.
He had a rough start, but he was excellent after those first couple turnovers. He really bounced back, got back to the game. He played well. Obviously, he could have played better at the beginning, but he bounced back. But all right, Zach, I think you were the only one that picked Oklahoma last week.
I kind of been ever since that.
Hey, wait. Look what it says right there. Zach Stradamus strikes again. I'm just saying. Listen, everyone thinks that this is a joke that I do. No, I actually know the future. Okay? I actually know the future. Vegas was telling you Texas. These guys were telling you Texas. Me, I actually know what happens. Okay? Oklahoma wins. Zach Stradamus. Right there.
All right. I want to do something different for college pick'em this week. I can't really pick. There's 3 really good games I want to pick. But it won't be through. Each of us has one game to pick, and we'll see how we do. All right. So this is a specific game for each of us. Zach, Miami at North Carolina.
I knew I was going to get this game, and I'm excited you picked me for this game. So last week we lost to a very, very underwhelming Georgia Tech team due to offensive turnovers. So we're just going to be honest about it. The rest of the team played pretty well. If we can cut down on the turnovers and play like we have been all season, we're going to be just fine. I'm taking Miami I'm going to call it a 4-point win. I'm going to say Drake May gets the ball back, unable to score in the last seconds. Miami by 4.
Shocker. All right, I'm gonna go Oregon at Washington. I love both these quarterbacks, Bo Nix and Michael Penix. I really like Penix. This is gonna be a fun game, high-scoring game to watch. I'm definitely taking over on this game. I think Oregon's gonna pull it out in a high-scoring affair, but I could definitely see this go either way. I like both of these teams.
Yeah.
And this is a good week of college football. And to wrap it up, we got Trevor over here. I know you said Notre Dame was frauds. So how about we have USC at Notre Dame? Who you got, Trevor? It's a tough one for you this week, I know.
Wow. When is this game?
7:30.
8 p.m.?
Saturday. Yeah.
Okay. This is USC at Notre Dame. Ooh. If it's low scoring, I got Dame. I got Notre Dame. Can USC outscore their problems? Is Notre Dame frauds? This is a hard one. I wish you didn't give me this game. I don't even have a coin to flip. Notre Dame, not because of Sam Hartman.
Fair.
Okay.
Audric Estime season, I guess. All right. Let's head into Pick'em again. How did we do last week, boys?
Shit, I left my notebook
Tell me.
in my room.
You
but
tell me.
Zach went 1-0.
Zach,
I mean,
3-0. 3-0.
3-0, baby. I know Trevor went 2-1. I think Kerry went 1-2.
I went 1-2 again, sadly. Another rough week.
Me and Kerry picked the Titans to beat the Colts. That did not
I knew
happen.
Gardner Minshew was
Zach
playing. I'm going to pick him.
Falcons. Me and Zach picked the Falcons to beat the Texans, which happened. And then our big Sunday night football
I
game
didn't
that
just
didn't
pick
really
the
turn out to be all
Falcons.
that big. And
I picked the Falcons in a Desmond Ritter bounce back game.
And that's what
I
we
should have
got.
saw his stat and realized he's never lost a home game in his life. But
I'm just saying, guys. Just
the
saying.
man is Tom Brady at home, I guess. He never lost in the NFL, never lost in college at home. But
Didn't
Trevor,
one of you guys want to say that Brock Purdy was the new Tom Brady?
yeah, we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
All right, Trevor, did you post TikTok pick 'em this week or no?
You didn't even post it this week, so
I did post it this week.
huh?
I posted it as usual this week, as you
I know, but I
promised.
said that I promised I would forget it. I would remember it. But I meant this week.
All right, whatever. All right, we had
Yeah, I
19
forgot
winners.
again.
We had 19 winners in total this week, 0 from Instagram, all from X/Twitter. Congrats to all of you. We post these every Friday at Purely Football on Twitter. As I cough along, get all 3 games right, and we'll shout you out on the podcast. It's fun. Play along with us. Whoever gets the most right at the end of the year, we'll give some free merch to. All right, so our week 5 winners, congratulations to them all. We got at JHates_666, Tom Brady fan, at football_talk2, football opinions, at sportsbetslips, splits writer, at the real DR Mike, big Chi-Town sports fan, at Staffieri_Mark, senior writer for WHL official, at Lizzie from the Lit, 2-time winner, at Dave Ensel65, beach bum and sports fan, at Adam_Antil, lover of USA and feelings herder, at Michael Pagano71, father and husband, at Rainmaker512, 2-time winner, at Jay Betos, Dolphin fan, at Ethan Wall 445, Atlanta sports fan, at J_Hoagie20, Dolphin season ticket holder, at Fanatic JT, sports fanatic from Florida, at Michael 328300183, Ritter supporter, Zach would love him, at James79, Dave 2000, loves Applebee's for some reason, at Falcons in Hawaii, Dirty Bird since 1990, at All-Star fan John, Atlanta sports fan, and at Sanders D84, lifelong Angels and Ducks fan. Congrats to all of you. Again, play along with us this Friday. Get them all right. We'll shout you on the pod next time. Trevor, what we got this week?
Quack. We got a slate, boys. And I feel like we're going to be all over the board with this one. Actually, I don't know. Maybe not. But our first game, pretty sure this is a 1 p.m.er. The Seattle Seahawks going into Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. I don't want to go first for this game. One of you guys got to go first. Seahawks at Bengals. I know Zach wants to take the Hawks.
I'll take the
I
Bengals.
really do.
The Zach that I know.
I really do.
I'll take the Bengals. I think they'll build off their momentum with a win last week. And Seahawks, Gino, I don't know how banged up Gino is, but Joe Burrow will go in there and probably play well again. I'm going to take the Bengals.
So I really want to take the Seahawks. However, I have an image to maintain, and the Bengals have already won this game in the future. So Bengals at home, building off of a win last week.
Sadly.
Death, taxes, and Zach Stradamus. I'm going with the Bengals, too. I trust you, buddy. Game 2 is coming into my city. The Detroit Lions are coming into my stomping grounds, peeing on the same trees as I do, playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm taking the Lions.
Hey.
This Bucs team is low-key fraudulent. They're going to fall apart, and I don't care.
I agree. Lions are for real. They've looked insane this year. Lions taking it. They're going 5-1.
The Lions have looked pretty good. But I tell you what, I'm going to take the Bucs here.
Wow.
Not because I think that they're a better team, but I think that they're more scrappy than the Lions are.
The Lions are the scrappiest team in the NFL.
No.
Oh, yeah.
They have the
I don't
scrappiest
know,
coach in
dude.
the
The Bucks have a
NFL.
legit defense. The Bucks have a better defense.
Yeah,
And that's
Lions
why I
keep
think they're going to win the game.
losing guys.
I'm going Bucks at home. Good defense wins it for him. Baker Mayfield plays good enough again.
Zach, me and you should have a conversation sometime about what defense is better, the Bucks or the Jags.
It's easily the Bucks.
But not right now.
Easily.
We got to get into our third and final game of Week 6 pick'em. We got the Philly Eagles, go Birds, going to New York to take on Pookie in the Jets. I'm taking the Birds. Go Birds.
This is the first easy one you've done all season.
Yeah, it's the Eagles.
Not the team with Pookie. But I will say,
I kind of want to take the Jets, though. Like, I don't know.
Take them.
I think this is either Sunday night or.
You think it's a trap game?
I think it's 4 p.m. or 1.
Let me.
I want to say, look at all the quarterbacks and how they've done against the Jets this season. Patrick Mahomes had his worst game of the season. Josh Allen is his worst game of the season. Mac Jones sucks, but he sucked in that game. Russell Wilson was not good. Dak was okay in their game. Quarterbacks are not playing well against their defense.
They got a good defense.
If they only had a quarterback, I wonder.
This was a known thing though going into the year. The question was not the defensive side of the ball.
Though the rumors have started to come up again that Vikings, especially after Justin Jefferson going on IR, might be willing to move Kirk Cousins. And obviously the Jets are awful.
I'm going to pick the Eagles, but I think the Jets are going to win this game.
Then pick the Jets.
Really?
Yeah,
I go 2 for 3 every week, so think about it.
Pick the Jets. Show you're a man.
No, I already picked the Eagles, but the Jets are going to win because I go 2 for 3 every week.
You don't believe in yourself. You don't believe in Pookie. You don't believe in the Jets.
You want me to show that I'm a man right now on camera?
Yeah.
Don't.
Show you believe in Pookie.
No.
Show you're a head receiver.
That'll get our YouTube views up.
Didn't get our YouTube.
That'll definitely get our views up.
Take
Check
it
us
off
out on
the
YouTube,
internet.
man. Purely Sports, if you want to probably the FBI show up.
All right, so
They'd be like, "Where'd you get that thing?"
You had any games, Trevor?
What elephant did you steal that from?
Oh, God.
Huh? Yeah. Yes, I do. All right. So we started off the game. We're like, shit, we got to watch the Bears go play the Commanders. Everybody said shit. I know Kerry didn't say shit. Zach might have said shit. We saw another Justin Fields. I don't know if we should call it a master class, but he played extremely well. Sam Howell came back and bounced back in the second half, threw for almost 400 yards. Especially, you could definitely jump off the Madden.
Okay.
Trevor.
Yes.
Redo that whole thing you just did.
Do it all over again.
Yes, you can. Jack off the net.
So heading into this Thursday night game, we were like, shit, we got to watch the Bears, watch the Commanders. We were looking for other plans on Thursday night, but this turned out to be a really telling game. We had a low-key Justin Fields masterclass, 4 touchdowns. He's played good these past 2 weeks. And Sam Howell, after a kind of rough first half, bounced back, rattled off like 20 fantasy points in the second half, threw for almost 400 yards, a couple touchdowns. What do you guys think of this game? 40-20, the Bears' way. And more importantly, what do you think of the Bears that we've seen over the past 2 weeks?
I think DJ Moore is a very talented wide receiver.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
Bless you. He's a problem, dude. I had to play him in fantasy this week, and it was Thursday night, and I didn't even care about fantasy anymore. 49 points from his wide receiver, too. It was over. I had a very relaxed Sunday. I didn't check fantasy once. I lost on Thursday night.
Justin Fields, he's not awful. He shows what he has a ton of potential. He showed it again that he could be a great quarterback. Obviously,
It's kind of weird.
His passing's hit or miss.
Because, Kerry, I remember, like, you in the offseason, you're like, it'll probably take him a couple weeks to warm up like it did last year. and then he sucked for a couple weeks, and you're like, he sucks. Get him out of here. And then you were kind of right, but you kind of argued with yourself.
I always do that. That's me. That's just who I am. I do want to say
Nobody's perfect.
Who are the
honestly the guy
the
that
problem
impressed
I
me-
have right now is people are saying, oh, Justin Fields, like, oh, now he's the guy. He played well against two of the worst defenses in the NFL, the Broncos and the Commanders. I'm going to need to see it a few more times against better defenses for me to say, okay, this guy's for real.
And I think if they're in the situation to get a guy like Caleb Williams or Drake May, I would do it. But if not, I'd give Fields another run through. Get a wide receiver, another wide receiver, get O-line help, whatever it is. But I just want to say, Sam Howell, he played like 5 games, he made some insanely nice throws in that games. I think
He's a
Sam
great
Howell,
quarterback, man.
yeah, he had a really rough game a couple weeks ago, but for a guy that's played 5 games in the NFL, if he had a competent O-line and defense, I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I think he's their quarterback future. And
I agree.
Ron Rivera should not be head coach anymore. There's a reason why he's head coach. I won't say it because it's probably offensive. But also, do you guys see his halftime when they interviewed him? You're down 27-3 at half, and they asked him, "Oh, did you tell your team to get? Did you pump up your team at half?" He's like, "No, I just let my players pump themselves up or something like that." You're down 27-3. You don't even speak to your team. What kind of coaching is that?
Yeah, Ron Rivera's like, we've lost this game. If my guys decide to come out and play better, I guess that's cool. I tell you what, though, halfway through that third quarter, I was like, the Bears are gonna blow this shit.
Yeah, the funniest part, like, he's throwing all these yards, and Terry McLaurin and Dotson, like, their top 2 wide receivers, weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
It was crazy. What are you doing?
And then we traveled back across the pond where the Jags stayed for a week. What? Why are you guys laughing at me? Am I breaking up again?
Just go, man.
Just go. It's fine.
Am I breaking up again?
No. Just go.
Oh, just go.
Before you start doing it again.
Oh. And then we had another game in London where the Jags stayed for a week, and they must have enjoyed themselves because they played fantastic against the Bills. It wasn't as close as the final score said it was. Zach, how did that feel? You guys should move to London, yeah?
No, we need to stay in Duval County, right where we belong.
Yeah.
The problem with going to London is whatever the most popular team in the NFL is going to be whose fans are there. I mean, there were more Bills fans at that game than there were Jags.
Probably right.
So you want the reason why you have a home field is for the crowd, right? So that's the only reason. That's the only advantage you get when you're at home. What?
The aura.
They had a bigger home advantage than possible. The fact that they'd been there for a week, they got acclimated, and the Bills flew it. This is the Bills' fault for flying in on Friday morning, but they had a huge advantage being been there for a week, getting used to the time differences.
Dude, they should have got there on Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't know why the Bills came in on Friday. Like, that was just stupid.
Sure got there on Monday.
They didn't look like they were ready to play till the fourth quarter.
To be fair, the Jags are the best team in their division. Super Bowl contenders. So they're a tough team to beat. That's all I'm saying. They're a tough team to beat.
In
Bills
London,
just came in there unprepared. They weren't ready for Josh Allen. Okay. And when you're not ready for Josh Allen's going to get hurt. He's going to get sacked. Josh Allen's going to sack him. By the way, I think it's official. Josh Allen is the new Josh Allen. Josh Allen is Josh Allen's daddy.
Wow. So at least the offense looked good for part of the game. This is the best we've seen this offense all year.
Yeah, it looked to be clicking a little bit more. Maybe it's the system change and the play caller change from Doug Peterson
I was saying this to Trevor, but like it seems like with the Jaguars, every week, Trevor Lawrence in the offense will have one or two great drives and score one or two touchdowns, and then after the rest of that, they'll just look mediocre the rest of the game. Well, they'll put together one or two great drives. They look like a great offense, move the ball easily, and then after that, it just stalls the rest of the game.
I mean, we still. I mean, I'll admit.
Yeah,
I'll be
you
the first
told me
person to admit I haven't been impressed with the offense so far. But I mean, all the pieces are there. We just got to put it together. I mean, it's a long season. I expect they'll continue to get better, and they've looked better every week. So there you go.
I bet ETN loves playing in London.
Well, he didn't because he was playing himself in fantasy. So that's tough scene.
Yeah.
36 points. Oof.
It's rough. All right. What we got next, Trevor?
Well, my team was on a bye. Zach, your team, congratulations, 2 back-to-back wins. Kerry, what happened to the Patriots on Sunday? What happened there? What was the score of that game?
What game? Season's over. Just tank.
Saints and the Patriots, brother. That one,
They're
almost put that on Pick'em.
That wasn't a game. That was a slaughter.
Slaughter. And
Massacre.
Mac Jones sucks, but it's not even all his fault. This team is this is low line is
Didn't even do
awful.
that much on offense.
The offensive line is garbage. There's no running game at all. The receivers all suck. Juju needs to retire. The defense is injured without their 2 best players. Like, there's not this team. I'm hoping for a tank. I hope they go 2-15 this year. I hope Jimmy G and Josh McDaniels beat their former daddy, Bill Belichick, by 40 again this week. I want to see Caleb Williams in a New England Patriot jersey next season. Can't wait. No more Mac Jones. No more of this crappy O-line. Start it over.
Bro, if they get a high pick, Kerry, just imagine how many times they can trade back.
That would be Bill Belichick. He'll take some defensive lineman from Rutgers first overall over Caleb Williams. I don't know, man.
Oh, gosh.
I will hate on Mac Jones. Like,
Kerry, how would you feel as Tyler Van Dyke is your quarterback next year?
I'd take anyone. I'd take anyone, man. Like Mac Jones isn't obviously. I'm not a fan of the guy, but like Bailey Zappi's showing he can't do anything there either. There's no better option than Mac Jones right now. And this is not a system Mac Jones is going to succeed in, and it's lost.
Yeah,
Season's over. I'm raising the white flag. Sadly,
raising the white flag. That's so sad.
Sadly,
crying tears for you right now, buddy.
I
really
don't.
depressing.
The Saints, who I was high on earlier, didn't even look that good. It was more the Patriots just sucking.
Yeah.
The Saints were fine, but like they just played an awful Patriots team. But I do think the NFC South is going to be a close race still between Saints, Bucks, and Falcons. Let's move on to the next game while we wait for Trevor's dead. Lions took on the Panthers. Now the only team that'll win this season. Panthers absolutely destroyed by the Lions. What do you think of that game, Zach?
I mean, it's what I expected to happen. Panthers aren't very good. The O-line is horrible. They have a guy that's shorter than me playing quarterback for him. Can't even see over his horrible O-line. So he's not going to play well. Aiden Hutchinson had a good game. He had a pick. Was it a pick six or just a pick?
Just a pick, yeah. It was a great catch. He's
it
turning
was
one of the
one-handed.
Best
one-handed out away from his body. It was nice.
Like Jared Goff, even he was missing Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown. That didn't matter.
Yeah.
Sam Laporta had another huge game. David Montgomery played well. Josh Reynolds.
It seems to me they made the right choice in going with Laporta over Kincaid.
Yeah, Laporta's looked. He's for how much people talk about rookie tight end struggling. Sam Laporta's having a great season, and
yeah,
Detroit got a lot of hate last year for moving on from Hawkinson. And honestly, Laporta's done more than Hawkinson has.
Yeah. Laporta's looked great.
But
He was one of my late targets in fantasy because I thought, if you're taking a tight end in the first round, he's probably going to be a guy you're going to want. Or you're going to use at least. So it wasn't shocking to me at all when he started getting a lot of looks and stuff, especially because of because he's a good blocker too. So as a guy that can block and then release off those blocks downfield, a guy you have to constantly think, is he blocking this play, or is he going to block and release? Is he going to just go out for a pass? When you got a triple threat tight end like that, it really makes it hard for defenses to guard and manage a guy like that. So I think seeing his success is really cool.
And
really, really cool.
Honestly, like Bryce Young, obviously there's been a lot of struggles four games in. Obviously, compared to how well Stroud and Richardson have looked. But the crazy part about it is, think about that trade they made. They gave up DJ Moore, who has looked insane. They gave up what would be the 9th pick in the draft, which turned into Jalen Carter, who has been insane for Philly. And they gave up probably going to be the first-round pick next year that could get Caleb Williams. And I think they also gave a second-round pick and a second-round pick in 2025. That might go down as one of the worst trades. That might be as bad as the Lance trade.
What did they – and they just traded up to 1 this year, right?
Yeah, to get Bryce Young. And I think I would rather have Jalen Carter, DJ Moore, and Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I would have rather gone another year with Sam Darnold as QB1. And
yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree.
Even if
Sam Darnold didn't play bad for them last year either. He was a competent quarterback.
Even if you don't get Caleb Williams, you could take a guy from North Carolina, Drake May. There's a lot. Bryce Young has not looked great, but obviously it's early on. We can prove us wrong, but a rough start for Bryce.
Yeah.
All right. Trevor's still dead, so let's move on to the next one then.
Yeah.
All right. We had the Colts beating the Titans in a pretty close game, 23-16. What AFC South rivals? I know this was a close game to pick last week. What did you think of this game? Derrick Henry really has killed the Colts in the past. He didn't do too much in this game. It was the Colts taking over the ground game.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said this last week that neither of these teams really excite me. And I think that stands true if you watch the game. I mean, there's just not a lot. I mean, obviously Zach Moss has had a really good season for them with JT out. JT on his way back. So I imagine that's going to be probably his not probably. Zach Moss's production is going to drop way off when Jonathan Taylor starts getting his load back. But I mean, the Titans.
I don't think so. I mean, did you watch
the money
that
that they just paid him? With the money they just paid him?
What did Zach Moss put up in that game?
A lot. He's been doing well all year. I think they're more likely. I think, honest to God, they're more likely to trade Zach Moss now to get value out of him.
Timeshare. He averaged 7 yards a carry for 165 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 30 receiving yards.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jonathan Taylor had a down year last year. I'm riding the hot hand from them.
Well, yeah, but if that was the case, why not just trade Jonathan Taylor instead of paying him a big contract?
And who's going to trade? You're not going to get much for running back these days in a trade either.
Jonathan Taylor, though?
I don't think they're going to trade him now that they just signed him. But
no, I'm saying why wouldn't you? If Zach Moss is producing at this level, which he was already this year, why sign him to that big contract unless it's just putting it up to mismanagement?
I don't think Jim Irsay is a great owner, so
yeah. Okay, I mean, that's fair. I agree.
I think both of us are hyped. It sounds like Anthony Richardson might be out at least a month, maybe more. Gardner Minshew season, starting quarterback. Are you scared as a Jags fan?
No.
You're not scared of Minshew Mania?
No.
Are they your number 2 contenders for the division then? They play this week, don't they?
Yeah, it's the Colts and the Jags this week.
Monday Minshew revenge game.
I don't know. The offense for the Colts doesn't really scare me all that much. Again, I think last week I said this. I think the most exciting team in the AFC South is still the Houston Texans, despite the loss to the Falcons. I think they're still the most exciting team. But
I think with Minshew there, this is kind of similar to the Atlanta Falcons, that they're going to be in the ground. They're going to want to run the ball first, and their defense leads the way with Minshew there. At least till Anthony Richardson comes back, and they're not going to try to beat you in the passing game as much.
yeah,
But
yeah,
obviously,
I agree.
They're competitive, and I think they have a pretty easy schedule too. So
yeah, the AFC South schedule this year is pretty simple, or pretty not simple, easy.
And honestly, if Titans have been so hot and cold this season, I kind of want to see them fall off a bit. And I'd like to see Will Levis get some snaps at some point this season. Honestly,
Malik Willis, get Malik Willis the ball. Let the man cook.
Let Levis.
He's a better quarterback, better playmaker.
Also, I think TJ Sharps is overtaking Derrick Henry's RB1 in Tennessee. I don't know if you've seen him play. He's super fast.
Yeah,
he's very good. I think Derrick Henry is on his way out, and Sharp's going to take over.
Did they trade Derrick Henry in the offseason?
I could maybe not this year, maybe the next year. I think in the next 2 years, we've seen Titans moving on from guys like Taylor Lewin, Ben Jones, a lot of veterans in the past few years. I would say 99% Ryan Tannehill this offseason. Like, they're trying to get the veterans out, get a new team. I think Derrick Henry's probably, if not this year, might be next year. But I think he's definitely on his way out in Tennessee.
Are you still high on the Titans winning the division?
Yes and no. I just don't love any team in this division that much. I think it's going to come down to week 6. I really don't see anyone in this division winning more than 10 games.
Okay.
I think the Jaguars are the Jaguars have the potential. I just don't believe they'll fulfill that potential.
Okay.
I think talent-wise, the Jaguars are the best team. I think we'd all agree.
Mm-hmm.
But talent doesn't always translate to wins.
That's true.
So we'll see what happens.
True.
But if they play like they did last 2 weeks in London,
I want to see that continue as they come back to the States. But what's the next game we got, Gary?
All right, we had a ugly game. The Ravens and the Steelers. Steelers taking it 17-10. I don't know if you saw the video of all the insane amount of drops from Ravens receivers this week. It was pretty funny. Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah, it was tough. The Nelson Aguilar drop brought back memories of it was tossing out babies. Who's catching them? Unlike that Aguilar.
And that Steeler defense is nasty. TJ Watt, another great game. I saw he played with a dislocated finger and just popped it right back in. He's a beast.
Dislocated finger and had torn ligaments too, I believe.
That Steeler defense is for real. This division is just going to be a battle till the end. Like, the Steelers have not played. Honestly, it's a huge success for the Steelers. They have not played well at all 5 games in, but they're in first place in the AFC North. You got to be happy with that if you're a Steelers fan.
Do you think that there's a chance they move on from Matt Canada? Given all the stuff we've seen out of the locker room and the fans.
Honestly, this offense isn't working. And, they have talent. Like, George Pickens is immensely he's having a really good year. But, like, besides that, Najee Harris is still talented. They have Pat Freiermuth. Kenny Pickett has potential. I think a better OC is going to – obviously, it's not working with Canada.
Well, Byron Leftwich put his hat in the ring and saying, hey, if you want me, I'm there tomorrow.
I do it. Like, I mean, this is a Super Bowl caliber defense, and you don't want to waste that. If this offense can just, they've sucked early on. They're still first in their division. If they can just keep it up a bit, get better,
Yeah, one of the things that makes me worry, or would make me worry if I was Matt Canada, is when there's videos coming out of you celebrating a team win and players, in this case, Chris Boswell, yelling after you. It's not because of you. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
That's tough. When you've lost the locker room, it's tough.
And, I was a huge Kenny Pickett supporter. And obviously
Yeah.
he's had a less than stellar season. But for how bad their running game is, for a young quarterback, you can't just be, throwing the first all the time. Najee Harris is averaging under 4 yards carry again. Jalen Warren's like 3.5. You got to help the young quarterback with a good running game. Same thing that's happening in Carolina. Like, you don't want to pass first offense with young guys like that. They need a running game. And unless that running game's get better, you don't want Kenny Pickett to have to throw the whole game.
Yeah. By the way, talking another about Carolina, letting go of McCaffrey for pennies. And then making the trade and trading away DJ Moore. It's like
they've had
Carolina's front office is just like, no, we're going to get rid of our best players
and replace it with Miles Sanders.
Yeah, it's very strange.
All right, let's head on to your babies, your mini babies. Atlanta Falcons beating the Houston Texans 21-19. Desmond Ridder with a bounce back game. What are your thoughts on that, Zach?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. The Atlanta Falcons are pretty much the team I thought they were going into the year. They have a good defense and a mediocre offense. If that mediocre offense is on, they're going to win games. If it's off, they're going to lose games. The offense was on this week, and they won. Which is the reason I picked them to win the division is basically I was making the bet that the offense was going to be on more than it would be off this year, even with a young quarterback like Desmond Ridder at the helm, because you draft a running back like Bijan Robinson, you handle the ball a bunch. You got Tyler Algier, you got Cordero Patterson also there, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. Like, these are good pieces, right?
What do you think? Patterson is like not even touched the ball once this year.
I know they made a big deal about the whole new position for him that they created, but
I do want to say both of us. I know you and me were both very surprised and not huge fans of the Robinson pick, but he's looked outstanding for them early on. And
yeah, he has, and he's like, listen. And when you say this, people are gonna be like, "You didn't expect him to be good." Me and Kerry both expected Bijan Robinson to be a good NFL running back. We just wouldn't have taken him that high.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially when they had Algier. But again, I don't think if this offense didn't have him, I don't think they would have 3 wins right now.
Probably not. I would agree with that.
But this is why Desmond Ridder won. He finally got Kyle Pitts and Drake London involved. 7 catches for 87 yards for Pitts, 6 for 78 for London. Finally, those two have been sitting quiet all season. Finally, they got some action. And he has weapons. Take chances.
Yeah, and I think the offensive play calling was a little more aggressive as well. Maybe they saw something in the Houston game tape that they liked, and they're like, oh, we can use this. Because the offense was just clicking. They were able to make throws down the field, which they haven't been able to do all year. That coupled with a decent running game, and they have a pretty good running back room. It's a recipe for wins, especially when your defense is playing at a high level.
And also, like, Desmond Ridder knows – I think he knew that if you know the bad game, Taylor Heineke went there. He's playing for his job. So, he might be more willing to make throws that he wasn't in the past.
Yeah.
Try to keep his job. As you want to say, once again, another excellent game for C.J. Stroud. He's looking like he's going to be a great quarterback for Houston.
Yeah, he looks really good. He looks really good. Listen, I'm just going to say Zach Stradamus had a good week. Zach Stradamus had a great week.
Good week. Falcons win. Jags win.
C.J. Stroud looks like the best quarterback in the draft.
I mean, that isn't much, though. Bryce Young has sucked, and Anthony Richardson can't stay on the field. But
that's true. But here's the thing: it was like some people were saying Anthony Richardson should go first. A lot more people were saying Bryce Young should go first. And I was out here saying C.J. Stroud is the best quarterback in this draft. He's the most refined passer.
I heard a rumor today. I don't know if you saw it that sounded like the Carolina owner forced them to take Bryce Young, and the Carolina coaching staff wanted them to take Stroud.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I don't know if it's true, but yeah. But Texans they're going to be a competitive team this year, and they're looking good.
Yeah.
All right. On to our next 1 p.m. I think our last 1 p.m. game, we have the Giants and the Dolphins. It's just getting funny with this Dolphins offense at this point. Tua had, a bad game. He still had 300 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And the Dolphins' running game they have the number one running offense, number one passing offense. A-Chain, who's unfortunately heading to IR as of today.
Yeah.
Looked insane again. This offense is just unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, the offense and the scheme that they run there, no one's found an answer for it. Except for maybe the Bills had an answer.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, outside of that, I mean, they've looked completely dominant on the offensive side of the ball. They have had, no hiccups outside of that Bills game. It was the first time and still the only time this season where we've seen Tua Tagovailoa under any serious amount of pressure. So, I mean, until other teams can replicate the Bills' success against this Miami Dolphins team, I think the Miami Dolphins are just going to keep winning.
And the crazy, as I just said earlier, you focus on stopping their pass, and their running backs get 6 yards a carry. You can't stop this team.
Yeah,
they're so fast.
Yeah,
they're a serious contender. But they have a tough schedule coming up. I know they got Eagles and Chiefs in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They got another easy game this week, but
they're going to lose that Chiefs game.
Yeah, refs will help them out on that one. We'll talk about that in a bit, but
we'll talk about that in a second.
And Zach, it does look like we might see Tyrod Taylor on a primetime Sunday Night Football game next week. We'll see if Daniel Jones plays or not. But I'm so sick of seeing the Giants on primetime TV. They're on Sunday Night Football against the Bills. They're going to get killed. Stop putting this stupid team in primetime.
Well, they're not going to get killed. Tyrod Taylor will lead this team to victory.
Over the Bills?
Tyrod Taylor over the Bills.
You guarantee that?
No.
No.
I think he'll play well, though. I think Tyrod's going to play well. He always plays well. He doesn't play great, but he always plays well.
If the Giants keep losing, do they start thinking about drafting quarterback next year? With all the money they pay Jones?
They got so many more problems on that team.
Giants
this is always my opinion when you see teams struggling. Everyone's mind goes to the quarterback because the quarterback stats, obviously, if a team's losing, the quarterback stats are going to look terrible. But when a team's losing, it comes down to a lot more than just the quarterback. We can look at the Steelers as the prime example. Steelers currently lead their division, and their quarterback stats look garbage. You know why? Because they have the best defense in football, arguably. So when you put a good defense on the field, the problem with the Giants is they have no offense and no defense.
The defense played well against Miami. They had a pick six, 2 touchdowns, another interception on Tua. They held the Dolphins. Their offense just couldn't do anything. But on it, I saw this comment somewhere today. For all the people saying, obviously Daniel Jones is a horrible situation with how bad his line is, not too many weapons. But then you look at a guy like C.J. Stroud. The Texans are missing 4 of their starting alignment. Their O-line has been awful. Damian Pierce has been awful. It's not like he's a huge amount of weapons there. And C.J. Stroud is succeeding because, good quarterbacks, even if playing around them, can still elevate.
I understand that, but I'm saying you don't necessarily need a great quarterback to be a winning team. You need a good team.
There's a difference.
You need a good team to be a winning team. So if they do replace Daniel Jones next year in the draft, I think that would be foolhardy.
There's also a difference between a good team and a very good team. Like the Raiders. I know you're not a Raiders fan, but they're a competitive team with Jimmy G, but they're never going to be a great team with Jimmy G. There's always quarterbacks like that. You need at least to step up to get to the next level.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I think a good team, a good team with a great quarterback is a great team. But I think I think a great team with a decent quarterback is still a great team.
True.
And we're going to talk about that in a little bit as well.
We will. All right, let's hit on the 4 p.m. window. We had the Bengals and the Cardinals. I jinxed Josh Dobbs after his first touchdown. I was like, Josh Dobbs has really played well this year. And then he played like absolute crap the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, I can't tell with Joe Burrow. He suddenly got healthy over a week, or was it more of a mental thing that now he suddenly looks like the Joe Burrow of the past?
I mean, we'll see. We'll see next week. Who do they play this week? I know it was a pickup game.
Seattle.
We'll see this week against Seattle. Seattle's defense hasn't looked as good this year, which should be concerning for Seattle fans because their defense
looked insane against the Giants.
Every defense looks insane against the Giants.
With 13 sacks in the game, they had me like 29 fantasy points. It was great.
Every defense looks insane against the Giants. My point is their defense hasn't looked as good this year. But, I mean, they have most of the same guys back. So it's not like there's crazy turnover. I think it's going to come down to if Seattle can defend the pass. Because the run game for the Bengals has been almost non-existent this season. It depends on if Joe Burrow decides if he wants to feel healthy this week or feel hurt. And if he feels hurt, they're probably going to lose. Or if he feels healthy, they're going to win.
I think Jamar Chase, I saw somewhere he was the first receiver to have 3 touchdowns and 15-plus catches in like insane amount of years. He killed me in fantasy this week when Zach had him on his team, like 50 points. Jamar Chase with a game of the year right there.
Great week for Zach Chadamas.
The amount of guys this week that had insane fantasy games, like Jamar Chase, Travis Etienne, DJ Moore, there was some crazy points this week.
Yeah.
All right. Eagles-Rams. This was a pretty close competitive game. The Eagles came out in the end. We did see, Cooper Kupp came back, looks excellent, but Nakua still put up a fight, still with a touchdown, decent game.
Yeah.
It's looking like a good threat in LA.
Yeah, I mean, I think this goes back to what I said this week. If Cooper Kupp does end up coming back, and we saw it this week. It was 1A, 1B. Cooper Kupp is 1A. Puka Nacua is 1B. The person that suffered was Tutu Atwell in terms of targets and receptions, which is what I expected to happen. He's going to significantly drop off whenever Cooper Kupp comes back because it's clear that Matthew Stafford has a great connection with Puka Nacua, and we already know about Stafford's connection with Cooper Kupp.
I don't know if you saw, they did trade Van Jefferson today to the Falcons.
Yeah, they did trade Van Jefferson to
Atlanta. Falcons really don't have a great receiving core after Drake London. They have like Scotty Miller.
Yeah.
Great options after that. So, and
it was a pick swap in the 5th and 6th rounds or something like that as well.
That's pretty good for. Yeah, he was a 2nd-round pick in 2020. He's got talent. Yeah, we'll see if it works out in Atlanta. Yeah, but the Rams, they could sneak in the playoffs, but they're a lot more competitive than people thought they'd be this year.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
And they've had a tough schedule early on too, so that's another thing.
And their offense is putting up good numbers too.
Yeah, definitely.
The offense is clicking. So I mean, if they can get to a softer part of their schedule, string together a couple wins, they could compete for a wild card because I don't think they're winning that division.
The same thing with the Eagles. Here's the difference between the Eagles and the Niners. The Niners have destroyed everybody they're playing. They're 5-0. I feel like Eagles have just barely
they're squeaking by teams.
Yeah, they barely beat the Patriots. They barely beat the Commanders last week. They're not impressive victories so far. So this is still an Eagles team that isn't looking as – yes, they're 5-0, but they're not looking as dominant as they were last year.
No, they're not.
And yeah, I'm very intrigued to see this team play Miami. And I think week 7 is when they play. That should be a really fun game. Sunday Night Football.
I need to make that a pick'em game because that's going to be one I want to pay attention to.
Definitely. All right, then we had the loser match of the week. We had the Jets and the Broncos, and Russ did not cook as always.
I think that's a little harsh. Russ played okay, but
That's what he's done all season. He's just played okay. He puts up good stats.
But yes, okay, so
He
that's the
doesn't-
problem. So that's exactly the problem. Is Russ was not brought to Denver to play okay. Russ was brought to Denver to be the guy. And thus far, doesn't matter who's the head coach, Nathaniel Hackett, Sean Payton, doesn't matter. He's just not the guy. He's a decent quarterback, but he's not the guy. So I think that's the big problem. And I think one of the reasons Broncos fans are so upset with Russ, despite him not playing terribly, he's playing a lot better than he did last year.
Here's also the reason why stats are, not always the thing.
Yeah.
Look at the stats. He's the highest rating of his life, of his career, at 106. He's 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's the highest completion percentage of his career at 67%. But those numbers may look good, but he's not playing as well as those numbers.
Yeah, and so that's why here on the Beerly Football Podcast, we use the eye test.
We do.
Use
And
the eye
that
test.
Denver defense
Because the eye test tells you things that stats can't tell you.
True.
And Russell Wilson is playing okay, but he's not playing like the franchise quarterback he's paid to be. He's not playing like the franchise quarterback he was brought to Denver to be.
And my eyes can tell me Zach Wilson is still awful. I feel so bad for how good this Jets team is. Besides him, Breece Hall with another. They finally took him off restriction. He went off in this game.
Yeah.
This team, I wish Aaron Rodgers was there. This would have been such a fun team to watch. Garrett Wilson's just being wasted. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll sputter along, pick up a wild card, and Rodgers come back to save the day. But it's too bad. This would have been much more entertaining if the East this season with Aaron Rodgers there.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Can you
Let's
believe
head on.
Trevor was saying not that long ago that Zach Wilson was the better quarterback out of the draft class with Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields?
I don't think he was serious. I'll hope he wasn't serious because that's an awful take. Zach
He
Wilson
was so serious
he's garbage,
back
man.
like a year
That
and
man-
a half ago.
He has to have some crazy blackmail on Robert Saleh and Jets organization because there's no reason he should still be starting. Carson Wentz, how is he still unemployed, man?
That's what I'm wondering, man.
I don't know. All right. Last 4 o'clock games. The refs versus the Vikings. The refs pulled out a 27-20 win.
By the way, I just want to say this to all the Chiefs fans that may or may not watch this podcast. This does not go out to all of you, but it is a royal you as in the fan base. And the fan base specifically that responded to a tweet. You guys are the softest fans I've ever seen in my life. I mean, maybe you guys are like just 14-year-old little girls who are fans of Taylor Swift. Maybe that's like your entire fan base. Because that's what y'all behave like over a joke tweet about the refs rigging games. But you know what? The refs are rigging games.
It's like
That was so obvious. That was more blatant than the week before.
okay, obviously good. Like, why do you throw the flag and take it back? And okay, maybe that doesn't happen. The rule, literally take the helmet off, throw the flag. The ref's like, buddy, put your helmet back on. No, if that was the Vikings that did it, they would have called that.
Yeah, if that was the Vikings, it would have been a 15-yard penalty. Give Mahomes the ball with a minute and a half left on the clock, even though there's 29 seconds left in the game. It's ridiculous.
Here's
It's
the other
ridiculous.
thing.
And the Chiefs fans are like, cry more. And it's like, listen, it's not even my team. I'm just recognizing that,
I
this
don't
is
think the
blatant
Chiefs-
at this point. It's
The Chiefs
blatant.
just don't look that good this year. I think the Eagles or Niners would beat them if they played in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes has not looked that good this year. He's obviously putting up good numbers, playing top elite quarterback, but he's not playing like he's the best quarterback in the world at all.
No.
He's had a couple good games, but he's not putting. He isn't. Tua's had a better year than Mahomes has.
Yeah.
But like, if you start watching NFL this season, you say, "Oh, Mahomes is pretty good," but like Josh Allen, two of these guys look better than he does.
Yeah. 100%.
I just feel bad for this Vikings team. Competitive every week out, but they still find a way to lose. Kirk Cousins.
Well, it's just the reverse of last season. It's
I know.
literally just the reverse of last season.
I just feel so bad for Kirk
bill
Cousins.
comes due.
Man's having another great year. He's going to go 1-4. Going to keep getting overhated by fans everywhere.
By the way, like,
overhated
and I
quarterback
tweeted
ever.
this out earlier today because talks about them moving on from Kirk Cousins have kind of been circulating since the beginning of the year. But like, if you get rid of Kirk Cousins, number one, who do you expect to be as good or better than Kirk Cousins right off the bat?
Thing is, his team's not going to win.
Yeah, it's not his fault. You have a great piece at quarterback and you have a legit number one. Fix the rest of the team. You guys have no running game.
Like,
your defense is awful.
Vikings fans seem to remember the era of like Christian Ponder and Teddy Bridgewater and Case Keenum. Case Keenum had a great defense that year. Like,
yeah,
they haven't had Brett Favre. Like, Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback they've had in a while. And here's the thing: it's very difficult with Justin Jefferson going down. But let me read off their schedule. Obviously, there's one game in here that's insanely hard, but the rest of it, they have the Bears, then the Niners.
Winnable.
Obviously, that's a hard one. Then the Packers, the
Winnable.
Falcons,
winnable,
the Saints,
winnable,
the Broncos,
winnable,
the Bears,
winnable,
the Raiders. That is a stretch that could easily put them back over 500 or around 500.
Yeah.
So obviously Jefferson's a big loss, but I think Kirk is a good enough quarterback that yes, they're 1-4, but I could see this team, being like 6-6 at some point and maybe hanging around as a wild card. So you never know.
Yeah.
I don't think
especially in the NFC. The NFC is going to be a jumbled mess at the wild card spot.
Definitely. But Chiefs just get so lucky every week, man. It's getting a little. I mean,
back to back. So they're like, oh yeah, like Chiefs fans are saying, what about these calls earlier in the game? And it's like, listen, to rig a football game, you don't have to call the whole game unfairly. You need to call bad calls or missed calls.
The funniest thing, like, a lot of people were like, "Oh, they're not rigging. We lost opening day to the Lions." I'm like, well, a certain superstar wasn't like obsessed with your team back then, so there was. Yeah. It was also week one.
They weren't panning to a certain musical artist every 5 seconds during the football game.
I know, it's like once they cut to the Vikings, be like, darn, Taylor Swift isn't here. We're not showing this game the rest of the day.
Yeah, basically.
All right. It doesn't seem like Trevor will ever join us again because he's died.
Nope.
Let's head to Sunday Night Football. The 49ers absolutely making a bitch out of the Dallas Cowboys. That was a hilarious game. Dak Prescott.
Great.
I was scared about my bet. I forget what it was with Trevor about Dak's interceptions. But Dak is like, no, I got this. I'm going to throw 3 interceptions out there. I'm going to make it close with you, Kerry. Dak, thanks, man. You suck.
So the bet was, let me see what it was. I have it right here.
12, 10, maybe?
It was 13.5.
So that's still iffy. But he was at 1 through 4 games. He's like, no, I'm going to throw 3. But, geez.
Yeah, that's
every year they're like the Cowboys contenders. And yeah, maybe Arizona was just a fluke loss. They absolutely get destroyed by the Niners.
Yeah, that was wild. The fact that they got absolutely just bodied. They just got bodied.
And it would have been more if McCaffrey didn't fumble at the goal line too.
Yeah.
And Parsons, I don't know. Parsons talking after the game, I think yesterday, he's like, next time we meet up, it'll be different. We'll take it next time. I'm like, wow, this Niners.
That was funny. Did you see Debo's response?
Yeah.
He's like, They don't want to see us again. It'll be worse.
It's like I'm bearing
42 to
injuries.
10, it'll be worse.
Bearing injuries, this Niners team is unstoppable. This is a top 3 defense at worst.
Yep.
This is probably the best skilled players in the NFL. The O-line is good. And I know Zach's not a Brock Purdy fan, but Brock Purdy in this offense doesn't make mistakes.
I mean, he's a good distributor.
He's accurate. And he doesn't turn the ball away.
He makes maybe one throw a game that I'm like, okay, that was pretty nice. But like, he's a good distributor. Kyle Shanahan obviously knows what he's doing with Brock Purdy in that offense. He's got the players to run an offense almost on autopilot, and it's really nice.
Here's the 2 questions for you. How much better is he than Jimmy G in San Francisco, do you think?
How much better?
Jimmy G.
I don't know if it's that big of a difference.
Do you think it's big of a difference to win a Super Bowl with?
It's a tough question.
But it's all – and here's another thing. Brock Purdy has now played, 12 games in the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
He's probably just going to get better from here.
He could.
As the more he needs his confidence after that game. Like, he's now in the MVP race after that.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I will admit he's better than Jimmy G was in that system. I'll admit that because it's just evident. It's just evident. Now, Jimmy G didn't have Christian McCaffrey right out the gate as a running back, but I think Brock Purdy looks really, really good. The offense looks really, really good. My question isn't the question isn't whether Brock Purdy is a good or bad quarterback. I think he's a decent quarterback. The question is, like, is he a top quarterback?
He's a good quarterback in a great system at worst.
I think he's a good quarterback in a great system. Like I said, I think he's a great distributor
with room to grow. And the fact
I don't think he's a guy that can take over a game.
And he took over that game.
Well,
mm-hmm.
Did he take over that game, or did Dak take over? I think Dak took over that game.
Dak wasn't that bad until the second half. Then the first half was all Purdy. Then the second half, Dak just was like, I'm going to throw it. Oops. I'm going to throw it to the Niners. Oops. Niners out there somewhere. But
I don't think Purdy's bad.
No, and that's the other thing.
He looked a lot worse on the Jets.
If you want to have a team like this with all the skilled players you have, you can't have a quarterback that you're going to pay a ton.
Yeah,
like the perfect quarterback for the Niners that they get. He's making $800,000 this year.
Yeah, it's like 8 or 9 or something like that. It's pennies. I think he talked about how he had a roommate because he couldn't afford to live in San Francisco because it's so expensive.
I saw that. He is very similar to Joe Burrow for me.
Really?
I think Joe Burrow is obviously a better quarterback, but I think Joe Burrow is also helped by the weapons around him.
Yeah.
It's been a great situation for Joe Burrow with his accuracy. But yeah. I think if you put Joe Burrow in San Francisco, it'd be a nightmare.
It'd be game over. You put Joe Burrow on that San Francisco team, they'd win the next 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah, but there's no one hotter than that. This team, bearing injuries, they're head of the Super Bowl.
I agree.
Sorry. All right. Let's head over to the last game. Monday Night Football. It was an ugly Raiders win over the Packers. That was such a bad game. Jordan Love, man, he threw.
By the way,
right in front
shout
of
out
early season. Let's throw it right to him. Those were awful interceptions.
By the way, shout out to Carrie for probably the best tweet ever. Beerly Zach, I don't believe in love.
Zach doesn't believe in love, man.
I got so many I so many tweets from that. Almost as many as the Chiefs fans crying. But and then I was joking around with people, and it was just good. It was a great tweet. It was a lot of positive interactions.
Love. That rarely happens on Twitter.
It does. It rarely happens.
Nobody deserved to win that game. That was the battle of the idiots. Like Jimmy G played well in the first half, and then he just forgot how to play football in the third quarter. Josh McDaniels is an awful coach. I don't know if you watched the game live, but at the end of the first half, there was 1 minute and 50 seconds on the clock. Raiders had 2 timeouts. Josh McDaniel uses his little noggin. Instead of maybe calling a timeout and stopping the clock, he's like, no, I'm just going to let the Packers run down the clock to 1 minute, and then I'll get the ball back with 2 timeouts, and then I'll run out of time and kick a long field goal and miss it. What kind of thinking is that, buddy?
It's great thinking, Kerry.
That Raiders defense played great, though. Max Crosby had a big game.
Yeah.
But is this Raiders team better than you thought so far? Or I know you had them. I think you had them worst team in the AFC.
Did I?
If not worse, they were one of the worst.
I think them and Broncos were like 1A, 1B.
That's
I was
fair.
not a believer in the Broncos. The Sean Payton or not, I was like, I'm not buying it. Trying to think. I know I had them as bad, and they are bad. Let me be very clear. This Raiders team is bad. Their wins are ugly.
But they're 2-3 right now.
Yeah.
And their next 5 games are against the Patriots.
That's a W. Wait, Kerry, do you think the Patriots have a chance to win this game?
Yeah, just because Bill against McDaniels. But I'm rooting for the Raiders. I think it'd be funny to see Bill lose to his former protege. But they got the Patriots, then the Bears, the Lions. They're going to lose that, but then the Giants and the Jets. So it's possible to win 3, maybe 4, probably 2 or 3, but to be around 500.
Yeah, I mean, I
just think there's going to be a mediocre team, maybe 7 or 8 wins. So they're not going to be good enough to take a elite quarterback next year. Maybe they could get JJ McCarthy or I don't know, someone like that. But I don't think Jimmy G's the answer there.
It's so ugly. I mean, the way that the Raiders play football is so ugly. It's
because they want to bring that New England Bill Belichick system there, and they don't want to play in it. Obviously, Devontae's having issues there. Jacobs is. Who knows what happened to Chandler Jones? But
yeah, I mean, I don't want to be mean to Chandler Jones because I have a feeling he's having a episode. But
yeah, I don't know. But
it just looked like he snapped.
They have a talented team, but
they got talent, but
Robert Spillane had the game of his life. 1 career interception before last night, and Jordan Love decided to throw to him twice. You think Jordan Love is guaranteed as the Packers starting quarterback next season? Or no?
Ooh. I'm not sure. I mean, I had a lot of people, again, off the tweet that you made saying, he's only played this many games. You can't judge him so fast. It's like, yeah, he's only played that many games, but he's been there. He's been practicing with this team for 3 years. And this is what he looks like.
It's also he also is the youngest team in the NFL with a young skill players also.
I understand that, but it's not the interceptions that he threw were not on the skill players.
No, they were awful.
I mean, they were bad throws.
That was
bad reads, bad passes. I mean,
I clown Desmond Ritter for his London game.
Yeah.
But Jordan Love might have been the one of the worst performances of this season by a quarterback, if not the worst.
I mean, it's.
Ryan Tannehill's week 1 is up there too.
But I mean, like the issue right now that I'm seeing with Love is like you drafted this guy when you had a team in the NFC Championship game. He better be the guy. And right now you don't see anything that's saying, okay, yeah, he can do it. You know what I mean?
This defense is good. They Jair Alexander shut down Devontae Adams last night. He had like 1 catch in the first half. They have a talented defense, and obviously.
And then they decided to put an edge rusher. Did you see that? What was that guy's name? They put on Devontae. I know. Friend of the show, Goot, tweeted about it.
The Irish guy, the McLaughlin or something. The Irish, right?
No, it wasn't McLaughlin.
What's the guy's name?
Smith is his last name.
Zach Smith? Zachary Smith?
But they had him on Devontae Adams for a play. 3rd down and like 10.
I don't think Matt LaFleur
Devontae Adams just does a quick like slant. Wide open.
Matt LaFleur is not a good coach.
No.
And speaking of Packers coach, both Mike McCarthy and Dak need to go. Mike McCarthy's not a good coach, and Dak is not the guy in Dallas. Both
agreed.
All right. Any other thoughts on last week or next week, or we want to head to rapid fire?
Well, I mean, I just want to real quick say.
Go ahead.
As claiming the name Zach Stradamus for myself comes with a lot of weight and a lot of pressure. And when I continually perform at a high level, it does bring me a sense of joy.
It does.
I know someone said that like you're just rooting for players to fail and blah, 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 and that brings you some sense of joy. No, being right brings me a sense of joy.
That's true.
All right, let's go rapid fire. And then we'll check on if Trevor's alive.
I'm surprised Trevor didn't choose Cowboys and Chargers for pick'em. That'll be annoying. That'll be an annoying game next week if Justin Herbert loses to Dak Prescott.
Well, you guys watch all the games together, so let me know what he's like.
I'm sure Trevor. I don't think not on the Monday one. I'm sure he'll be annoying on that. He doesn't watch any game. He's passed out drunk watching the game. All right. Who is the worst coach in the NFL?
Ooh. Golly.
I think it's Brandon Staley, but there's a few candidates here.
There's a lot of good candidates.
A lot of these other guys don't have the talent that Brandon Staley does, and he still loses.
Brandon Staley's bad. I'm going to go with... You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with Mike McCarthy.
That's fair. I think Matt Eberflus is also ass.
Eberflus is up there.
McDaniels is good. Ron Rivera
bad.
Not good.
Ron Rivera's terrible.
With Bill Belichick this year. GM-wise, Bill Belichick is. All right, who will end up being the better quarterback, Justin Fields or Jordan Love? I knew this would be a hard one for you. Jordan Love for me. I meant Justin Fields, not Love.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think the obvious answer is Justin Fields because he does show flashes that he can be a good quarterback. Jordan Love just doesn't show those flashes.
Yeah, Fields is too inconsistent.
He's athletic Dak.
Who's your prediction to win the AFC North this season?
The Lions.
The AFC North.
Oh, AFC North.
This is a battle. I still think the Ravens are going to pull it out. They should have won that game against the Steelers in 4-1. I think they'll still.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Ravens as well.
But honestly, any of these 4 teams can win at this point. This is going to be a close game until the end.
Yeah.
Name a better wide receiver than Devontae Adams right now. Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. Trying to think. Justin Jefferson, even though he's hurt, is better. I think Jamar Chase is better now. There's a couple.
Are you happy with the quarterback play from your team this year?
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm
Really?
surprised.
That's shocking.
Honestly, if I was you, I would not be happy with Trevor Lawrence.
Why?
Like, he hasn't been bad by any means, but this was supposed to be the year he's going to take it to, like, an MVP candidate.
He's had a lot of drops this season.
Still, though, like, he's been good, but he was supposed to go to the elite status. And, maybe it's still another year away, but he really hasn't had that.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence has looked... I don't know. Again, not saying that you don't watch football, because I know you watch a lot more football than Trevor does. But I mean, when he has time and he's setting and throwing, and even when he's throwing outside the pocket, I mean, he's extremely accurate. Even down the field, he's extremely accurate. I mean, we've had several drops. I mean, we've had guys not get 2 feet in bounds on perfect passes to the back of the end zone. So, I mean, I like the offensive production or the lack thereof out of the Jags. I don't think is Trevor Lawrence's fault at all. I mean, I think Trevor Lawrence has looked pretty good for the most part. I mean, there's obviously some things he could improve on, but Trevor Lawrence has looked really, really great. His team hasn't looked great, but I think he has.
Disagree. I'm not saying he's been bad. I thought he was going to be, an MVP candidate, and so far he hasn't been to that level.
Long season. It's a long season.
Yeah. He's still like top 10 quarterback, but MVP, no. All right. Is Dak Prescott the long-term answer at QB for Dallas?
No.
Yeah, no.
It never has been. People were saying this 5 years ago. Dak Prescott's the future of the Dallas Cowboys. He's clearly not. He can't get it done.
Is Brock Purdy the new Tom Brady?
There's a good argument for it.
He's a late
round
pick that replaced an injured veteran quarterback on a talented team already with a lot of weapons around him.
Late round pick that becomes a massively overrated quarterback because of the team that's around him. He's never played in the NFL without a top 5 defense.
All he does is win. Doesn't turn the ball over.
No, Tom Brady is Tom. I will say this: Brock Purdy is nowhere near as talented as Tom Brady was. I mean,
yeah, but Brock Purdy's also year one. I mean, Tom Brady was not Tom Brady year one. That first third.
I think he was better than Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
I go back and watch tape, and I can be impressed by Tom Brady, even though I don't think he's the
Tom Brady really, it took him a few years to get to the level. He was very good, but he wasn't, number one in the league by then. All right, true or false? Niners are the best team in the NFL right now. True. It's not even a question.
I don't know. Trevor would say false, and he'd say Eagles, but I'd say the Eagles can barely beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
They can barely beat anybody. That's kind of their thing right now is that they barely beat people.
The Commanders should have beat them.
Yeah.
Say one positive thing about your favorite team so far this year. We still own the Jets. That's something.
Looks like continuous improvement, and I'm excited for what we're going to look at by the time the end of the season rolls around.
Who's the worst team in the NFL?
Ooh.
This is a battle.
Oof. The worst in the NFL.
I got to go Panthers. Patriots are close, but at least Patriots were competitive first few weeks.
Yeah, I'm going to go Panthers as well.
Broncos, Giants, Bears. There's a few good contenders.
Here's the thing. If I put any of the bad teams I can think of up against the Panthers, I think that they would win.
Yeah. All right, which quarterback would you rather have for the next 5 years, Josh Allen or Trevor Lawrence?
Trev.
Josh Allen, sadly.
Trev.
Name a former Georgia football player. Todd Gurley.
Herschel Walker.
Trigger this fan base in one sentence: the New York Jets. Butt fumble.
Oof, that's a tough one. Aaron Rodgers.
Speaking of him, who are you taking at their peak? Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers?
Huh? At their peak?
Brees or Rodgers?
It's Rodgers at his peak.
Look at Brees. No,
That's
I change my
wild.
mind on this like every 4 minutes.
It's
All right,
definitely
Who's an NFL player whose career you wish could have turned out differently?
Aaron Hernandez.
Stole mine. Andrew Luck, then. All right. Pick one in their prime. Lamar, Cam, Russ, Vic. I'll go
Lamar,
Cam.
Cam, Russ, Vic. I'm leaning toward Cam at his prime.
Agreed. Should Eli Manning be in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Yes. Why
No,
not?
absolutely not. He's not good enough to be in the Hall of Fame.
Beat the GOAT. 2 rings.
I don't
I feel
care.
like he was not a great regular season quarterback. He was great in the
No, he
playoffs.
never was. He wasn't even that good in the postseason.
All right. If you had to call one NFL starting quarterback or running back, who would it be?
If I had to what?
If you had to call one NFL starting quarterback or running back, who would it be? It is Lamar, sadly.
Oh,
Actually,
NFL
no, it's
quarterback or running back? No, it's Justin Fields.
It's Daniel Jones, actually. He can't throw. All right.
It's
Is
Justin
Sam Howell the quarterback of the future in Washington? I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so as well. I agree.
Who's your favorite Minnesota Vikings player of all time?
My favorite Minnesota Viking
Justin Jefferson,
all
sadly.
time?
Sadly.
Probably AP.
Should Justin Fields be that? We kind of answer this, actually. Name a wide receiver that deserves a better quarterback.
A wide receiver that deserves a better quarterback.
Garrett Wilson.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Rookie Andrew Luck or rookie RG3?
Andrew Luck.
All right, and then last one. Who's the best quarterback here? Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, Jared Goff.
Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback there.
Brock Purdy, sadly.
That's so. I'm not even going to argue with this.
Trevor Lawrence, number 2. Goff, number 3. Dak doesn't even deserve to be number 4. He's number 6. All right, that's it,
All
Jarvis.
righty.
Follow us on Twitter, Beer League Football. See all those questions before they come out on the show.
Zach Stradamus. If you want to know things before they happen, make sure you follow me there. It's an excellent place for you to find out everything that's happening. Also, if you're interested in golf at all, we do have the Beerly Out of Bounds podcast. It's me and my brother Zane talking all things happening in the golf world. We had a good episode last night that's on our YouTube today. So make sure you check that out if you're at all interested. Trevor's not here. This is normally when he would do his little sign off, but he's not here. Follow us on TikTok. We also post the pick'ems on TikTok. You'll see me on there. You'll see Trevor on there. We're gonna try and get more regular uploads on our TikTok if Trevor can remember to do them. Thank you guys for watching or listening, whether it's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, anywhere you get podcast. And we'll see you guys next week.
Wait.
Oh.
And follow me on Twitter at BeerlyCarry. And lastly, because Trevor's not here, I'll say this for him. It's with hockey starting up tonight. Check out our Beer League Hockey podcast on all the same entities, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Follow them on Twitter. They have a great show. Check them out.
See you guys next week.